All right then, let's begin. So first, could you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Dohyun Ok, or I go by Jason Ok in my English name.
Okay.
Spelled Jayson actually.
Yeah. Great. And Jason, are you working or are you a student?
I'm currently a student in the University of Washington in the States. It's in Seattle.
And could you tell me about your major?
I'm currently studying biology. I want to go in pre-med, so to be a doctor, so I'm studying biology.
And do you like your major?
I do actually like my major, but in my first year, I was taking a little detour, so I was studying a little bit about computer science instead of biology. So I haven't learned much about biology in college, but I did learn a lot in high school, so I really like it.
Great. Now let's talk about birthdays. So what do you usually do on your birthday?
In my birthday, since I am Korean, we eat miyeokguk, which is like our traditional dish to eat in our birthdays. And I normally eat a cake with my family and just have a big dinner. We go out or just make, a lot of food in our house and just gather together and eat a lot of food. Yeah.
Great. And what did you do on your birthday when you were young?
Normally when I was young, I was in China when I was really young, so I would call up a lot of my friends and just throw a little party, play some Wii together, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And do you think it's important for you to celebrate your birthday?
Yeah, I do really think it's important, especially in a lot of Asian cultures. Birthdays, I feel like they put a really significance into getting older. And even in Western cultures, it's a big thing about, when you were born, celebrating that it's only once a year. So I feel like it's really important to celebrate your birthday.
Great. Now let's talk about writing. So do you write a lot?
Yes, when I'm asked to, I guess, yeah. I don't really write a lot often because I'm more of a reader. But when my creative aspect do come out, I do like to write a lot.
And what do you like to write?
I normally like to write about my thoughts, I guess, because I feel like I have a lot of thoughts in my head. So if I write them down, it makes it easier for me to just not think about too much things when it's on my mind. It helps me ease my mind. So yeah.
Okay. And do you prefer to type on a computer or write by hand?
I actually used to prefer typing before when I was young because I thought writing on a pencil and typing was basically the same thing. But now I much prefer writing on paper because it helps me remember more, I guess, like writing out the words.
Yes. And do you think you can tell anything about a person's personality by their handwriting?
Knowing a person's personality through handwriting, I feel like yes and no, because if a person writes very fast and very messily, I can tell that they're a very impatient slash a busy person. But also at the same time, if you write just like a normal person, I don't think I can, deduct the person's personality from that.
Okay, great. All right, that'll do us for part one. So now we'll go on to part two of the test.
Yeah.
So let me give you this. Here you go, sir. There's your question.
thank
I'll
you.
give you a pencil there as well. All right, that's 1 minute now. All right. All right. So could you describe a time when you saw a lot of plastic waste?
So when I was a kid, or even recently, I feel like on a lot of beaches, whenever I travel or just in Korea, there's a lot of plastic waste I just see lying around. And when I see it, it's usually because a lot of people like to litter on the beach because there's not really much to place it because there's no really trash cans, and it's really convenient for people to litter instead of just carry their trash around all the time. And when I normally see this, personally, to be honest, I don't really do anything. I do take out my trash, but I don't really go my own way to take out others' trash. Um, but yeah, I do feel bad about that sometimes because online these days, like on like Instagram or like YouTube, I see a lot of like people doing good things, like taking out the trash that was just littered by other people. That makes me feel kind of guilty for not doing it for others. But I feel like if everyone just takes out their own trash instead of trying to do it for other people, it'd be a better environment. There'd be less trash. So I feel like doing it on your own is just like being responsible, I guess. Yeah. But whenever I do see a lot of trash lying around the beach, it does make me feel bad because all the good environment, all the good scenery is just getting ruined by that. So I feel like everyone would just, be responsible.
Yes. Okay, mate. This has a minute and 40 seconds for now. Okay,
Right.
that's great. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you think in recent years it has gotten worse?
Um, Definitely yes and no, in the sense that like people I think have been more aware of the issues, but at the same time there's also a lot more people littering just because of conveniency and because life got a lot easier and we don't see it as much because other people pick it up for you. I feel like a lot of people take it for granted. A lot of the I don't know the word in English, but in Korean it would be 환경미화원, like people who pick up the trash, like pick up the litters on the street and stuff like that. I feel like that has been more prevalent, so it's a lot easier for people to just take that for granted and litter.
Okay, perfect. Now we'll jump on to part 3 of the test.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we'll keep it going here. Okay, so do you think we should use plastic products?
Definitely yes, just because of convenience. And I feel like countries like Japan and Korea, we're doing a great job of recycling. So as long as that recycle just goes on really well, I feel like there's no problem in using it. It's just how we litter and not recycle well is when the problem starts. So I feel like if we just get the cycle going and a good system running, then yeah, it's a definitely good product to use.
And how can governments ensure that their citizens recycle properly?
I feel like fines, like strong fines, are a really good way to prevent it. But I don't really study politics, so I can't say for sure about these stuff. But yeah, I feel like one difference that the States and Korea has is that we have different plastic, like different types of plastic, like for example, normal plastic and plastic bag. They're all differently, they're all separated and in different bins, whereas in America, it's just one big plastic bin and we would just throw it in there. So I feel like that's where the recycling doesn't really work.
Yes, yes. And how can people reduce the use of plastic?
I feel like if you want to reduce the use of plastic, maybe like I feel like Starbucks is a really good example where they're using wooden straws instead of plastic straws. So it minimizes the plastic waste. And another is like wooden utensils instead of plastic utensils, I guess. If we want to use one-time uses instead of using disposable plastic, using like wooden would be a great solution. But then also con about that would be like Starbucks, if you use wooden straws, like in a while the coffee starts tasting kind of like the wood. So I feel like that's one of the cons that you can see. But yeah, definitely better for the environment.
Sure, yeah. And in your country, what kinds of plastic waste do you often see?
A lot of waste I would see is like plastic bags, definitely, because we use a lot of plastic bags here, and I feel like a lot of people sometimes just drop it even without noticing, so it's just lying on the ground a lot and just maybe pieces of plastic bags that were ripped apart from like grocery bags or stuff like that. But yeah, that's the most prevalent one I see.
And why do people like to use plastic so much?
Just for convenience, I guess, because it's just really convenient to use it at one time, and it's very prevalent. It's easy to, you know, it's super convenient to come by, and it's just everywhere in convenience stores and marts and just like bathrooms. So I feel like it's just really easy to access and easy for one-time use. So yeah, better than carrying around everything all the time.
Yeah, right. And do you think people can do without plastic altogether in the future?
I feel like some parts of plastic is needed just because we're so used to it in our lifestyle. But in the far future, maybe if we've got a alternative for instead of plastic and we start using recyclable products more, then yes, I do see it happening, but not in the near future.
And is there any way for governments to make people care more about this issue?
I feel like it's just showing the statistics and like maybe visually showing what impacts the littering. Because I feel like people know littering is bad, but they don't really know what happens after, like the outcome of littering. And I feel like a lot of schools have tried that with like campaign videos, but like I feel like you need to really touch a person and not just like force them to watch a video. Maybe like because VR is so prevalent these days, like you know, a virtual reality where like littering gone so bad, so like our environment is not it used to be anymore. So we can show that and make them feel how our society would be if this became a problem.
Okay, nice one. All right, man. That's 5 minutes now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the feedback now. Okay. So yeah, your score is definitely very high. I would estimate around 8.0. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of things to improve on, to be honest, there's not much. You speak very fluently with extremely comfortable way of speaking. So the small things with prepositions, maybe I think you said like in my birthday, should be on my birthday, right?
Yeah.
For days, right? On my birthday, writing on a pencil, writing with a pencil. In terms of countable, uncountable, a few times, I think there was a bit of confusion with much and many, like too much things, too many things, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure, as you know, when you're speaking fluently, these slips happen, but of course, I think you know the correct version. Things with when you talked about part 2 as well. Part 2 asks you, right, describe a time when you saw a lot of plastic waste. So it's asking you for like one time
example
in particular. So if I were doing the IELTS test, I would just talk about one day.
Okay. Yeah.
And because you can kind of see the question there, it says like, if you look at all the verbs are in the past tense.
Yeah.
So yeah, just try and follow the question if you were to do it. Yeah. Right. And in the part 2, you were using the phrasal verb like take out my trash. Yeah. Like take out would only be used when you're talking about from your home.
Yeah.
When you're at home, you take out the recycling. Yeah. Maybe if you want to say in this situation, I think you want to say like pick up. I don't pick up other people's trash.
Yeah.
But I do. You could say maybe dispose of. I dispose of my own trash, or I throw it in the bin. That'll be fine. That'll be all good. A few things with vocabulary, right? Let's talk about that. When you said strong fines, that's fine. Another word you could also use is hefty. Hefty goes with fines. Hefty fines. For example, there should be hefty fines for anyone who litters. Wooden straws, I think it's probably better to say paper. Paper straws, paper straws, hefty fines. Litter, the word litter is uncountable noun. So there's never an S there. Yeah, so it's a verb and an uncountable noun. In terms of the vocab as well, so there's some repetition, for example, like prevalent and convenient. that came out a lot, right?
Yeah.
So that might affect your vocabulary score. That you know, someone like you who's extremely fluent and grammar is pretty much fine. I would just focus on vocabulary. So anyone of your level who's looking for a higher score, just when you're having a chat with your mates and your friends, it's fine. But when you're doing the test, just try to avoid the repetition.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good test. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.